Alrighty, so going to start the wall today, but first I want to show you is I got the windows tinted here. As you can see, 5% tint on both sides. Pretty dark, as you can see, and the rear of course. So you can see a bit of light through it when you're looking through the car. But obviously, once I put a wall in there, there'll be no light coming through from the front, so it's going to be pitch black in the back. So you know, it's going to hide what's in there, I guess, and you're just going to see the front. Alrighty, YouTube. So, just filming now with the GoPro. Hopefully that's going to have a half decent mic and decent quality as well. So, there's the first piece, all welded up, as you see. So I've got the full frame on the bottom. I've got my tabs in the corners, which will be using seatbelt bolts. And then I've got those bolts there, which we're also holding part of the rear seats in. So what I'll do is I'll space that under there. I've still got to put the original carpet in, as I said, so the gap will change, and I will put a big like a big solid spacer there on all 4 holes and bolt it down. It was the floor was way too ripply to be able to actually just make it sit in there. Alright, so next really I'm going to weld the frame that comes up to where the box will actually sit, so the height that the batteries sit under. And there will be a final bolting place, which will be on those side bolts that are just there. Now there's our frame with all 4 posts. Now pretty much there will be a piece going on top of those, a straight piece on all of them. Now these back ones actually line up pretty much, or they're about 5mm inside of the plastic at the top of the car here. So the point being is, this is as far back as the box can go physically. So I can actually shut the doors. And the front there is as far as the box can go forward in line with the seat. I did think about taking the seats out and doing a kind of a C-pillar, but with only 2 seats. But the whole point of doing this C-pillar is so I can have 5 seats, and more for the thrill, I guess, when I go to a car show, that people can sit right in the back seat with 2 big ass 15s right behind their head. Hopefully that's starting to give you a bit more of a picture. And no, that has nothing to do with the box. Okay, you're probably going, what? Okay, that is the floor of the install. Now, if I can put this iPad down. Pretty much 1, 2, 3 batteries in the back there. On each side of them, at the back, will be fans. I'm pretty sure I'm going to have them all blowing hot air out. Sucking hot air out, should I say, because actually these here, if you look in the sides of the Jackaroo, they're speakers, but up there they're actually vents that go to the outside, just there in the windows. So pretty much cool air can get in, hot air, I'm hoping I can blow it out into the cabin. So that there's that. Now these sides, pretty much what I'm going to do is, the box is obviously going to come to about the same back as the whole of this. I'm going to make a big beauty panel that'll cover everything all the way around, and obviously when you look inside underneath the box, you don't want to see, you know, the side of the wheel arch or whatever. So this is pretty much just to enclose what's here. So I'll have 3 batteries, I'll have my big 4-channel and my big 5K monoblock. It actually does over 6K, but the big monoblock just there. This, and they also are cut about 5mm, should I say, too low at the moment, and that's just to allow for carpet thickness, because you're going to have carpet thickness of this and carpet thickness of that. I didn't want to go into detail and spend 20 minutes showing you this, but there is my finished amp rack. What is that? I don't even know where that came from. So there's the finished amp rack there. Now at the moment it's just sitting there, and that nut's holding it from falling on top of itself, and the tape stopping the focal falling forward. It almost balances right, but if we have a look in there, I have a piece of wood. It's actually curved. Oops, sorry, where I can see it underneath there. It's actually a curved piece of wood. Routed the bottom of all the pieces of the wood. And so what I'll do, when I make a beauty panel, it will sit right here, so that you won't see any of the wiring, and then also you won't see any of the wiring on either side, but it'll look like the Crescendo's floating. Because if you have a look at it now, you don't actually see the wood. You have to go right down here to actually see the wood underneath. So I can mount it that way. It looks like the Crescendo's floating. Oh, there you go, it actually is balancing. I had that nut sitting there just in case it fell. But it is actually balancing. So, and then you've got the focal sitting there. Now, it is actually, right now, I put the ruler in, it is 100% spot on as far as the height of the box is going to be, where the steel goes. But this is the bottom of the steel. There's obviously the inch of steel and then the bottom of the box. So there's going to be about an inch gap between the back of the focal here. It's got its cooling fan anyway. Everyone sees the Crescendo, and then if they want to duck down and have a look, they can see the 4-channel, if anyone actually cares. Yeah, I got a little creative there, but I wanted to keep it simple-ish. Again, it's not really, no one's really going to look at it, but the point is they will see the big guy. Yeah, if they want to look at the focal, it's under there. 3 batteries obviously still fit here. The whole point is this all gets installed, the frame, these amps, everything gets installed before the box does. The box just slides on the top. So, and obviously I got the focal here, so all my dials are still accessible, so I can tune it, because it is an amp I'm going to play with a bit, because I will be changing mids and highs setups probably while the build's still here. And obviously even if I have a beauty panel, I just pull the beauty panel off and I can get the Crescendo's panels there. I made it wider, the bottom, because I'm going to make a side and the wires will tie to it. And the wires, even though I'm using flexible stuff, they don't like being cranked around straight away. So I give them a little length before I actually turn them. But again, you won't actually see any of that. So there we have, that's my battery holder. Pretty bloody simple. I rounded the edges on it and made it look a little pretty. But as you see, pretty simple. And there's that guy finished. So routed out the top bit there so it hugs in with the amp, as you can see. And yeah, that's how it sits, as you can see how much it hovers off the ground. So it looks like, sort of look like the amp's floating. And can't really get yours under there because the GoPro's kind of mounted on something, but it's all finished. So that's going to be painted, that guy. This guy there is going to be carpeted. So I'm going to resin that one first and then paint it so I can get a nice finish. And yeah, so that's those two finished. Most of the boot there is finished now, so it's pretty much going to be, once I get some carpet, I can finish that off. As you can see, my work area is a fucking mess. And yeah, we'll see how we go. Anyway guys, that's it for now. That's part 1. So pretty much going to, every 3 days, try and upload a video of this. So yeah, I'm going to call this part 1. Try and keep the videos to a maximum of about 10 minutes. So you see what's happening now. Should give you a rough idea. And I will move on now to the next part of the build. And the reason there's a gap here, there isn't actually going to be as big a gap. The tape, once the tape goes, it goes down a little. Obviously I need enough room for my wires, and I don't need to cram the amp in there. So that's why that gap's that size. I didn't have a lot of room to work with. Are you recording? You are recording.